How is it going on with you? Today I'm happy to inform you that I do offer online classes for KCSE prediction revision. If you're interested, check my description box. You'll see my number there. Reach me through WhatsApp and we will discuss. I usually offer the online classes on Saturdays and Sundays, but over the holiday could be a daily basis. Kindly reach me if you're interested. This video you're going to do a few questions, paper 1 questions, and I'm sure you've come across these questions in your exams, in your revision. There are 3 questions from the same topic, and I'm going to read the first question. I hope that I'm articulating the words clearly and you can hear me clearly. The first question is, in a conversation, how does one know it's their turn to speak? In a conversation, how does one know it is their turn to speak? And I'm assuming you're talking in a group discussion, that is someone is speaking. So how do you know it's your turn to speak? And the response is here. Number 1, if you are asked a question, the purpose of a question is to get an answer or to be answered. So the first response is when the speaker asks a question, you know that it's your turn to speak. Otherwise, don't give a one-word answer. It's very wrong. The correct response is when the speaker asks a question. Number 2, we have the long pauses, where the speaker uses a long pause. And number 3, we have the rising and the falling intonation. So when a speaker uses rising or falling intonation to indicate that they are done speaking, you know it's your turn to speak. Number 3, we have the fillers, and these are meaningless words. So when a speaker uses fillers, correct spelling is here, and these are words like you know, you see. The last one, you're going to check for body movement. So when a speaker uses a body movement that suggests that they are done speaking, that you know you can speak. Remember that interrupting is very, very rude. So you look for these clues, and when you see one of these clues, you can speak in any conversation. Part B of the same. Identify 5 circumstances that may force a speaker to interrupt. Yeah, we have said interrupting is rude, but then we have the circumstances or the situations that can force you to interrupt. And when interrupting, you're supposed to use a polite language, and that will lead us to question number C. So what are some of the circumstances that may force you to interrupt a speaker, although interrupting is rude? And number 1, we have this, audible. When the speaker is not audible, you can interrupt and maybe request them to be audible enough. Number 2, we have the issue of rudeness. Maybe the speaker is rude, then you can interrupt. When the speaker is rude, you can interrupt. And number 3, we have clarification. Maybe the speaker has said something and you've not heard it clearly. In that case, you can interrupt to seek clarification. So when you want to seek clarification, there is another circumstance that can force you to interrupt. Number 4, out of topic. Yeah, we are discussing about global warming, and someone is starting to tell you how they spend their weekend, how they dance, and so on. In that case, you can interrupt and remind them to keep in the topic. So, to focus on the topic. So, how are you going to put it? When the speaker goes out of topic, you can interrupt. And finally, we have contradiction. When the speaker contradicts themselves. Again, you said yes, interrupting is rude, but then the circumstances, we have the circumstances that might force you to interrupt. When you're interrupting, you're supposed to use a polite language. Don't interrupt anyhow. Be polite. So the question is, list down 5 expressions of polite interruption. Maybe I was teaching history and then by mistake I said, remember the first president of Kenya is Daniel Arap Moi. In that case, it was because I was speaking in a rapid speech. Could be a mistake that I made. Yeah, but you understand it's not right. Yeah, you're going to correct me. But how are you going to do it? Politely. So we have these expressions that you could use. And number 1, excuse me, but maybe could it be right if we say Jomo Kenyatta was the first president of Kenya? Yeah, that sounds polite. Number 2, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is it true to say that Jomo Kenyatta was the first president of Kenya? Yeah, I'll not feel bad. But if you say, teacher, you're wrong. No, that is very rude too. Number 3, please allow me, pardon me, but, forgive me, but. So these are the expressions of polite interruption. So that brings us to the end of our lesson today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, this is a paper 1 question. Should you come across this question, you should be able to give the right response. Thank you. See you next time.